Time now for Friday Politics with Mike Duffy. And Mike, just 4 days now until the federal election on Tuesday. Another very tough day on the markets. A sharp drop on the dollar's part today. Government buying up mortgages. No doubt now that the economy certainly is the central issue in the campaign heading into the long weekend and all those turkey dinners.
Yes, indeed, and the Minister of Finance is down in Washington. They're going to meet all weekend with finance ministers from around the world because this isn't a Canadian problem only. It's a worldwide problem, and so we'll have our beady eyes on that throughout the weekend to make sure that whatever happens there, you'll get it on CTV News.
Right. Mike, I'm sure many have tuned in here tonight expecting us to dissect yesterday's interview with Murphy-Dion, the decision to air the multiple restarts. It was a difficult decision, and certainly one we realize that many viewers did not agree with.
Yes, that's true, Stephen, but the people who've contacted me, I've suggested look at it in the other direction. If we were to have cut that out and not shown that to Canadians, it would be the same thing as saying, well, Jerry Ritz talked about the listeriosis in a private conference call. He thought it was private. Did we serve the public good in doing that or not? Basically, our job is to put it all out on the table and let Canadians decide. So to me, that's yesterday's news. Let's move on. There's a lot more news to cover today.
Well, I might add, too, that we usually don't agree to restart interviews, even when we're not happy with our own questions.
You're just too nice.
Well, I don't know. But in this case, you know, we did agree to restart out of respect for Monsieur Dion and a sincere plea that we start again when it was obvious to me that he didn't understand the question. And then, you know, later when we reviewed the tapes as part of the sort of overall editorial review process, it was found that this was a situation best judged by Canadians.
Absolutely. It's in the public interest that everybody know everything. And this weekend, it's the Liberals who are complaining. A few weeks ago, it was the Tories, and the Greens have been barking, and so have the New Democrats at various times. It's all part of the game when the atmosphere is so highly charged in an election. The important thing now is that we don't change our rules. We have the same rules for everybody all the time, and that we carry on, and that the public makes sure they get out and vote on Tuesday.
It certainly is a charged time. We've seen in the past week or 10 days there has been a marked improvement in Liberal fortunes in public opinion polling, and there's also been a return of some very familiar Liberal faces. Some Liberal warriors are back on the campaign trail, Mike.
Well, you know, for a long time I think Sheila Copps was so depressed by the way she was treated by the Martin Liberals and in effect forced out of politics. She was pretty down, but now she's back feisty as ever, and tonight she and the old warhorse himself, Jean Chrétien, are in Toronto, and they're going to go to battle. And I can imagine Chrétien will be attacking Harper, saying, look what he did to me, look what the Tories did to me during my time of office. They're doing it now. I mean, it's a standard line from him. The other one who's into the race is Ed Broadbent. He's been around town as a sort of senior statesman, but he's down in the partisan trenches this weekend working very hard, and I thought he'd be out attacking Stephen Harper, but in fact, he's attacking Jean Chrétien, and he's telling people in the Toronto area today that it was Chrétien who cut all that spending and gutted Medicare and so on. So it's really a blast from the past, or back to the future, as Michael J. Fox would say. One other thing before I forget, or two, I gather that Monty Solberg has announced funding for a new grandstand at the Summerside Raceway. That's skills development for you.
All and politics is local.
That's right, and the Tories, Joe Maguire isn't running again, so the Tories are hoping that Gail Shea, the former highways minister in that part of PEI or in PEI, will be able to pick up that seat in Egmont. And I'm told that the Prime Minister will be in Charlottetown or in the Charlottetown area for a brunch on Sunday, again trying to boost Mary Crane there, who all the locals tells me is within an inch of knocking off Wayne Easter. So it'll go right down to the wire. And in every poll, in every community, it's important that people get out and vote. And we don't care who you vote for as long as you vote, because it's not right not to vote.
Mike, just before we go, we've got to swing over to the Blues. This has not been another particularly good week for the Prime Minister. He's certainly been under fire for his comments about, you know, a good opportunity to get out and buy stocks while the markets are falling, and for otherwise perhaps not doing very much about the financial crisis in the country. And then, of course, his response to the whole situation with Murphy-Dion yesterday. I had one Tory insider say to me that this is almost like deja vu all over again, a campaign that started well for the Tories that seems to have come unraveled in the late days.
Well, what happens is, Stephen, the Tories have made their share of mistakes, and the Liberals have an incredibly strong brand. And a lot of the people who were phoning me up and backstabbing Stéphane Dion and plotting the takeover by Bob Rae or Michael Ignatieff, or even the next wave down Dominic LeBlanc and Justin Trudeau, those same people in the end, as Liberals always do, have come together, and they're fighting for the team in this final week. Whether their coming together will be enough to make Mr. Dion Prime Minister, we'll have to watch CTV News on Tuesday night to find out.
Final point is that the election falls after a long weekend. There will be not only table talk this weekend, there will be banquet table talk about the election. And one really has the impression that, you know, given the opportunities that Canadians are going to have to get together in, you know, small but larger than normal groups, that there's still real fluidity in this whole situation.
I think so. Every vote's going to count. A lot of ridings with very narrow margins. Over in PEI, Lawrence McCauley, always a couple of hundred votes. He seems to be in good shape now, but again, none of the candidates are taking it for granted. A lot of talk about change in the air in the province of New Brunswick. We'll see if that holds. And of course, that's from Toronto down to Windsor on that corridor. The New Democrats and the Liberals are neck and neck, and depending on how the splits go, maybe the Tories will come up the middle in some of those seats, or maybe the Dippers will replace the Liberals. I certainly know that Jack Layton is not pulling his punches when it comes to Stéphane Dion. So it's an amazing three-way race, and I can't think of a time in our history when we've had something this close, this exciting, go right down to the wire.
We will see you Tuesday, if not before. We'll see you on TV tonight.
Absolutely. We're back on the air with we're on the air again, of course, tonight at 6, so we're on right now, and at 9, and then we're back at 6 on Monday and Tuesday. So just because we're into the holidays doesn't mean the old Duff is not down at the stand working hard.
Happy Thanksgiving, and with the price of gas, happy Thanksgiving too. Mike Duffy
Yeah.
on Parliament Hill.